All right. Can I have you introduce yourself?
I'm Lois Blair, clerical assistant at Green Hope High School in Wake County.
All right. And what does comprehension mean to you?
Well, to me, comprehension is what your kids learn when they're learning how to read, like in elementary and middle school, and all the tests you take to see if you understand what you read, all the EOGs, and in high school the EOCs, in English, where you have to be able to read a passage and you have to be able to understand what it means, because if you don't understand what it means, you can't answer the questions about it.
Okay. So just going off of what you just said about when you're reading, so what you're saying is that when it comes to comprehending a text, can you expand more on what it means to comprehend a reading?
Well, you have to be able to read the text, and then you have to be able to answer questions about it and be able to tell somebody what you just read. You have to be able to articulate it. And the person you're talking to or reading what you have answered has to know for sure that you did understand what the passage was about, what the story was about.
Okay. Just going off of that, some teachers I know when I was in high school, a bunch of their quizzes and stuff that they would give us after reading involved memorizing certain passages. Would you say that's comprehension, or is comprehension and memorization two different things?
There may be some value in memorization, but I'm not sure that memorization proves that you've really comprehended and understood what you just read. I mean, memorization, you're just reciting it right back.
Okay. And what would you say it means to comprehend a learning situation? So pretty much anything other than reading a book.
Okay, ask that again.
Okay, what does it mean when we say that someone comprehends a learning situation? So basically, what does it mean to comprehend everyday things? So basically, not reading Shakespeare and being able to expand off of what you read. Anything else in life. So like you could be like math, history, another school subject, or
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're
the real
if you're
world.
if you're sitting in on a discussion about anything and you really don't understand or get what's going on, you don't get the value of it. And a teacher or an adult, your boss or whatever, needs to know that you have understood it. So whether you have to be able to discuss it later in an intelligent manner or write it to prove that, use that information to write an intelligent analysis or whatever, you've got to be able to communicate both orally and written what you've understood. So, I mean, you have to use comprehension all through school and all through the rest of your life.
Okay. And just the last question here: what does it mean to comprehend in today's society? Because obviously things are a bit different when it comes to comprehension today with Google and all the technology compared to back in the day.
Well, I think today kids and parents just assume that their kids are comprehending, and I'm not really sure that they are, because it's like they're not using any critical thinking skills, because they're taking everything at face value and they're not like trying to understand it and compare it and do something with it, because they have so much information bombarding them all the time that they're not picking and choosing what's the truth, what's the real stuff, and how do I use that to understand this over here.
So what you're saying is there's more with the technology. There's so much more information out there that it's not necessarily reliable. It's a lot different than when you need to look something up and you looked it up in a book and you were pretty certain.
Right. When I grew up, you looked it up in the encyclopedia. If you didn't have an encyclopedia, there was nowhere to go look up anything except your textbook. I mean, those are your only two options. And nowadays, there's so much information out there, and if kids aren't taught by their parents and their teachers to how to sort through all that information, they don't even understand that half of it's not even true. And how to pick out what is true and what to do with that information.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.